really is getting meaty out there now.
Let's do this.
Shall I make a run with the camera?
Yeah.
Give me your tripod so we can make a run for it.
My name is James Reynolds. I am a typhoon chaser, and I've been going after Asia's strongest typhoons for the last 20 years.
This is getting really, really, really dangerous.
A large part of what I do is very much detective work. I've got to identify whether this storm is going to be a significant typhoon.
Getting these really big thunderous gusts of wind now. They're actually tearing tree branches off.
Each chase I have one specific goal, and that is to try and position myself in the location which is going to see the worst of the storm.
James, watch out for any flying sheeting.
There is a part of me which is an adrenaline junkie, but I want and I hope to get the most accurate, reliable, what we call ground truth out to the public.
Watch out for the fence.
And there's many ways you can do that these days. Social media, live streaming, which accurately illustrates what conditions are like on the ground. If I can do something which is useful and benefiting as many people as possible, I feel like I'm duty-bound to do that.
August 2025, the peak of the typhoon season in Asia.
Good morning here from Taiwan. This is Mark speaking. James there is packing up the car, getting ready to move.
My first chase of the season came in much stronger than I was expecting. It certainly surprised me in that respect.
Oh, these waves are just insane. Whoa.
It's something which I have been noticing. This trend of storms which have been struggling, look like they're not going to do anything, and then just start cranking and catching people off guard in the 12 hours before landfall.
It's going to accelerate through this bit before this big wave comes up.
That looks like it's trying to climb up.
Why this is happening? I don't think anyone really has an answer yet.
Typhoons are becoming stronger, more destructive, and harder to predict, forcing scientists and storm chasers to put their lives on the line to decode how these storms behave.
Despite the advances in technology and the new models that have been developed, the greatest challenge all across the world, the great mystery that is yet to be unlocked, is figuring out how to accurately forecast their intensity.
Whoa. The typhoon is just out there kicking off these waves.
They're such complicated, fluid forces of nature.
I don't think the models are going to help much with our decision making. We're right on the ground and we're closer than anybody else, basically.
Mark and I have been going on expeditions together for the last 15 years. We're very, very close friends.
Yep. This is the mad bit, isn't it?
And that has been forged not just through good times on the road, but also through horrific times.
If you look at the bottom of the eye, it is well south of Kending. So if it did continue, we would be in the eye. However, just the slightest jog north and we wouldn't be in the eye.
Each typhoon presents itself as this set of problems which need to be overcome. My job is to figure out this complex puzzle and try and position myself in the eye wall, which is the ring of nasty storms which surround the eye of the storm. And if I get lucky, I'll end up in the eye of the typhoon as well.
Every time the radar imagery uploads, you're second guessing your hunches and decisions, and it's exhausting. It's just tiring.
We just wait for now.
It's going to be a tense hour.
For now, hold up at the railway station. I say it's a safe location, you never know 100%, there are still threats. And now we just hang out here and record it as much as we can.
been way wilder than I thought it would be, and it's got the potential for cranking even further, I think. It's a little bit scary. Benson's about to take flight.
When those gusts came through, they were like the roar of a jet engine on an aircraft. Trees snapping in half. Debris flying through the air. Really, really quite mind-blowing hazardous conditions. And then before we know it, there's no wind, no rain, and we're in the eye of the typhoon.
So we made it into the eye.
Yeah, 100%.
Was never in doubt.
It was.
Birds are starting to come out, and the winds are really dropping now.
Yeah, that's what to keep. Yeah.
Being inside the eye of a typhoon is just bizarre and surreal. Just knowing that you're in the middle of this violent storm system that on all sides is chaos, but you're in this kind of island of tranquility. When I'm in those moments where everything has come off, that's when I remind myself this is what it's all about.
Always extraordinary. It's extraordinary.
Asia experiences some of the world's strongest typhoons, caused by vast expanses of warm ocean, favorable winds, and powerful atmospheric circulations. Armed with the latest technology, a network of forecasters scan the oceans, aiming to predict the next big typhoon in time to save lives.
My name is Christopher Perez. I'm one of the Assistant Weather Services Chief of the Weather Division. Isa po sa medyo busy pag bagyuhan dito sa ating bansa. Ano ba yung satellite image natin? Every 15 minutes pa yan ang reception? Ng satellite image?
10.
Every 10 minutes? Okay. Ben, makilagay nga yung latest, yung mas malinaw na forecast track. Yung monitoring natin, since naging low pressure area pa lamang ito, ay around 1,320 kilometers ang layo sa southeast portion ng southern Luzon.
The newly identified storm is named Ragasa. It quickly becomes more organized, moving northwest on a collision course with the Philippines. Weather bureaus across Asia are on high alert.
Worst case scenario is super typhoon category.
那么我最开始关注到这个台风的时候，它仅仅是在菲律宾以东的西北太平洋上的一个热带云团，发展成热带风暴级别，此后是向西北方向移动，强度也是逐渐加强的。
所以这是首先我们可能希望以后的台风我们都能报得非常准确，它什么时候登陆，什么时候影响到这个区域，它造成的破坏是怎么样。那么这个角度来讲呢，我们可以跟周边的国家共享数据，我们是一个大的团队在共同合作去配合。
We received a task request from the Hong Kong Observatory.
Safety equipment ready.
They will request us to collect data from the outer wing band, from the eye wall, as well as the eye itself. It will help us to estimate how strong the typhoon is.
789-28, contact tower 118.44.
Bago pa man ito tumama sa ibang bansa, neighboring countries like Vietnam and southern part of China, Japan, and Korea ay tatama po muna sa atin. Makikita ka agad nila yung impact sa atin eh. Tayo first hand na makaka-experience, so may basis na sila. Hello sir, good morning. Sandali lang. Size ng eye? Ilang kilometer? Kaya tinitingnan sa radar. When there's a weather system brewing off the Pacific, the first thing that we have to check is the latest satellite image. The geostationary meteorological satellite is a weather instrument that we use to monitor anything that has a potential to enter the area of responsibility and affect the country in the coming days. We're looking at the weather system now from a bird's eye view. Around 36,000 kilometers ang layo ng satellite sa ground. We can pinpoint the locations of the estimated center using the latest raw data.
As Typhoon Ragasa intensifies, the clouds circulate around a calm central eye. In the surrounding eye wall, multiple thunderstorms begin to form. The whole system continually draws energy from the ocean. Warm air rushes upwards, spiraling towards the center. Higher sea surface temperatures, atmospheric moisture, and consistent vertical wind speeds combine to create a violent, unpredictable system that can change course at any time.
Based from the forecast movement, we're expecting either tumama siya sa any of the islands sa Babuyan group, or kung makikita natin itong what we call the area of probability, this is the cone-like picture na nakapaloob itong center track. So ibig sabihin, can either follow this track line in the next 3 to 4 days or may deviate more to the south or more to the north of the center track. Weather forecasting is actually not an exact science, but what we try to do is provide the, say, worst case scenario so that people can prepare.
Clearly visible from space, Typhoon Ragasa swells into a colossal weather system, moving northwest towards the Philippines at 10 kilometers per hour. With a storm of this scale, James springs into action.
Hey, Mark. How you doing?
Good, all good.
I got married in Japan and have lived here with my family for the last 8 years. Storm chasing is now my full-time job. I self-fund all my trips, and all the footage and data I collect, I provide freely to all the weather agencies across Asia. I think we might need to pull the trigger early on this one.
Yeah, I totally agree. Let's get to Manila as soon as possible.
This is a tough chase. This is an unconventional chase. I'm going to be going somewhere I've never been before, and I'm going to be on a tiny, tiny island. And I've got to take a real gamble that that island is going to be the right place to be. These expeditions are not easy. Your mind has a habit of going to dark places. It can be very, very lonely on the road. You kind of just have to focus on the mission. But the ingredients are there for something quite remarkable and rare to happen, and that is for a Category 5 super typhoon to impact a small tropical island.
I've had to change my original plan. I've had to push everything forward by a day because the models are really accelerating this storm.
This is very rare, doesn't happen very often, and that's kind of like the holy grail of what I do. And even if there's only like a 5% chance of it coming off, I'm willing to put all my chips on the table and take a gamble on this one and go all in.
So we have made it to Vasco. Here we are. Tiny tropical island between Luzon and Taiwan. Good to be here.
Typhoon Ragasa closes in on the Philippines. As its winds exceed 185 kilometers per hour, it is upgraded to a super typhoon, the strongest in Asia this season. James and Mark set up base in Basco, the capital of the Batanes, a collection of islands off the northern coast of the Philippines. Forecasters' models predict the typhoon will pass just to the south of the island, but it will be a fine line between catastrophic impact and a near miss.
As soon as we get off plane, the first thing Mark and I really wanted to do was get just a sense of what the island is like.
Should we walk up this way? Yeah. See what's going on.
We love exploring places on foot. That's a big part of why we do what we do, is just the personal exploration part of it all, going to new places, places we would never think to visit if we weren't pursuing typhoons.
There was this tension in the air. We could see that people were preparing for something.
You take a documentation.
Yes.
What was most obvious at first was the way that the local people were putting heavy objects on the roofs of their houses, especially the houses with tin roofs.
They're just putting some sandbags for the way in.
To weigh down the roof.
Yes,
Yeah, I see.
because it's a super typhoon.
So every year you see typhoons?
Yes. Typhoon Pico, Typhoon Haiyan.
Yes, I remember that one. They've been through many before, but the warnings they're getting this could be a Signal 5 typhoon, which is the highest on their warning level, the strongest rating of winds, and they are preparing accordingly for that.
Typhoons are classified by wind speed. Anything above a Category 3 is considered a major threat to life. Windows will be blown out of high-rise buildings. The strongest Category 5 can bring winds over 45% faster than a Category 4. Complete collapse of older metal buildings may occur.
Una-una siguro yung to come up with a timely and reliable forecast, lalong-lalo na kapag sobrang lakas ng bagyo, kapag super typhoon category. We have to move a little faster than the usual.
Naghahanda na sila, may malaking nagyahan si raw.
Station ng HMD, pakidoktong na dito sa PowerPoint para dire-diretso tayo. So, ilan lamang po yan sa mga pressure. But, of course, for example, direct na maapektuhan yung pamilya mo. Would you rather stay at home to protect them or report for work to protect not only your family, but a larger community?
Hello, test mic.
So, may human factor din. In spite of all the exhaustion, kailangan pa rin natin magtrabaho.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
What's going on?
The hotel staff have prepared a little food package for us.
Wow.
For the typhoon.
That's the first time I've ever seen that in close to 100 typhoons. Absolutely amazing. How kind of them.
Oh, yeah.
What have we got in here?
Bread,
coffee. Wow. Amazing.
Hot noodles, tuna.
Well, obviously, goes without saying, we do have our own supplies, but the fact that they're really thinking of us and looking after us like that is very, very sweet. I'm humbled.
At Ragasa HQ, Chris's team issues live updates every 3 hours. Broadcast nationwide, their warnings become critical as landfall approaches.
Magandang araw po sa kanilang lahat. Narito yung nilalaman ng latest tropical cyclone bulletin. So makikita natin na nakikita na yung bagyong Sinando ng ating Apari Doppler radar. At makikita nga natin na talagang yung mata nito ay very visible. Yung mga kaulapan tumatama na sa ilang bahagi nga ng Northern Luzon.
The typhoon's vast rain bands carry huge amounts of torrential rain. In the eye wall, violent winds reach sustained speeds of 215 kilometers per hour, with gusts even higher. Steadily moving west, coastal communities in the northern Philippines are braced for the worst impact.
Dito po sa may bandang Batanes and Babuyan Group, posibleng umabot ng around 3 meters ang pagtaas ng alon or daluyong sa mga coastal areas. Hopefully by the time na napapanood natin sa mga coastal ito ay nakalikas na sila into higher grounds.
Acting on the forecaster's warnings, the Philippine Coast Guard calls all fishing boats back to shore. They hand out food and aid packages, and emergency services evacuate more than 10,000 people, housing them in temporary shelters inland. Overnight, the weather worsens.
Mark, have you got your little light handy?
Yes, I do.
Can you turn it on? Because the light switches aren't doing much. There he is.
So we wake up on the main day of the typhoon and the power has gone out, which is totally to be expected.
thinking the generator will probably kick in when everyone's awake, because what's the time? It's like 4 o'clock? It's 4 o'clock in the morning now.
That's the kind of point where Mark and I really need to just lean on our experience of having been through this many, many times before and just get to work getting all my systems going, so trying to get a live stream going.
Here we are. Daylight. Is the internet working? It says it's working.
Seems we're getting it intermittently.
Often there are no other storm chasers or dedicated reporters on the ground hunting down these storms,
Thinking just up there. Looks like we can get up there on a little staircase.
relaying accurate information in real time about what is happening. If I can do something which is useful and benefiting as many people as possible, I feel almost like I'm duty bound to do that.
I'm gonna do one more. It's pretty solid.
"12 years ago, Mark and I went through a life-changing event with Super Typhoon Haiyan.
Be careful.
We went into the chase knowing it was going to be a strong typhoon, but none of us had any clue things were going to escalate to the levels that they did.
We had storm surge starting to flood the ground floor of the hotel.
We could just see the water flowing like a river and then just rising and getting deeper and deeper, and then the panic setting in.
And more in there.
The screams, the shouting, the terrified children, the parents,
Be careful, guys.
just everything spinning out of control. And there we were, doing our best to try and keep ourselves safe. Most importantly, record as much as we could.
Okay, well done, guys.
And what turned out to be a very important kind of historical record of a historical event. I'll never forget going to one of the cemeteries, just spending a quiet moment there and seeing whole families, like 8, 10 people, you know, wiped out. It was, yeah, it still brings me to tears 12 years later just thinking about it.
The eye wall of Super Typhoon Ragasa approaches land, causing torrential rainfall as far south as Manila.
Once the weather system move closer towards the landmass of the country, ando naman yung radar natin. Yung estimate natin na 11 to 5, yun yung traverse ng... Nandito na yan by around 5 p.m. Tatama mo ba yung nasa western na island? Ito yung dalawang isla na delikado. May potential tamaan. Dahil 50 to, pwede ano pangalan ito? Haiyan. Nandyan yung stasyon natin. Haiyan. So, 11 to 5, babuyan din Haiyan. By around late afternoon, eye wall na lang yung tumatama sa Haiyan. Kasi ang radar, may maximum range lang po ng 400 kilometers. So beyond the 400 kilometers, hindi nila ma-detect yung weather system. Pero once within the weather disturbance come into the range, then mas nagkakaroon tayo ng picture, better resolution, better images of the weather system from the ground. Yung nakita natin sa pinaka-latest radar image as of 12:45, yung tinati ang mata, sentro ng mata, nasa coastal area south of Babuyan. Actually, kung ibabase natin yung naging current image from the radar, sakto siya dun sa center track.
Good morning. All right, I finally got this working. Okay, yeah, so here I am. So I've fixed up the iPhone onto a railing, so it's kind of zip tied on.
To be able to have got that live stream out, which then proved to be very, very useful for people who were trying to get a grasp of what the typhoon was like and its impact on the islands, was very, very satisfying.
So the latest with the Typhoon is it is a super Typhoon, it is a Category 5. It's not going to directly pass over my location, it's going to be passing south of us.
Mark and I, we had a good grasp of the nature of the Typhoon. They can always throw up surprises, but we've been observing it for hours, and we felt comfortable that we could venture out and get a real feel for what the Typhoon was doing.
Probably not the smartest thing to be doing walking around.
We're just filming it, taking it all in, documenting it as much as we could.
Camera's so waterlogged.
The Category 5 Super Typhoons are really different class of animal. It is extremely difficult to describe in words how violent and dangerous those winds are.
Yeah, away from this lamppost. I don't trust these things.
You have to have every single scenario mapped out in your mind to keep yourself safe. And if you're caught napping, there will be consequences.
Oh, we gotta go, man. There's some bad winds coming through. Probably not the smartest thing to be doing walking around.
Super Typhoon Ragasa batters the northern Philippines with peak wind speeds of 285 kilometers per hour.
The tide should have gone out. I think we're seeing just a rise in the level of the sea all around the island.
When you're in a typhoon, you're constantly thinking, what is going to ruin my day or kill me?
I don't trust these things. They're very wobbly and look like they're ready to fall over.
You have the rain, which can cause sweeping flash floods, landslides, and if you're on the coast, you have the storm surge or the destructive waves.
Told you, man. Nice.
Yeah, what were we just saying? We're just standing there.
Thankfully, we pulled back enough. I think we need to get back to the hotel.
Typhoon Ragasa is by far the strongest of 18 typhoons to hit Asia so far in 2025, leaving behind a wave of destruction and forcing thousands to evacuate.
100 kilometers south of James and Mark, the Babuyan Islands and northern Cagayan in the Philippines are devastated by storm surges and landslides. In East Taiwan, torrential rain bursts the Matayang Creek Barrier Lake, sweeping entire towns into mud and killing 18 people. Leaving devastation in its wake, Typhoon Ragasa continues towards South China, putting forecasters on high alert.
上午9点前后，以超强台风级别是靠近我市。那么目前画家沙是已经进入到了我国的南海东北部海面上面。那么接下来将会进入到台风防御的关键期，各个岗位都要做好岗位的值守工作，坚持24小时值班。
Now 500 kilometers southeast of China, Typhoon Ragasa barrels towards two of the most densely populated cities in Asia, Guangzhou and Hong Kong. Traveling across a large, uninterrupted stretch of water, it maintains super typhoon intensity, continuing to gain energy from the ocean.
我们要进一步就是细化防御举措，强化对公众就是包括这个应急物资储备，然后还有城市生命线、供水供电等方面的一系列应急举措，
将会给我市带来严重的风雨浪潮的影响。那么大家需要警惕港区陆地的极端性的大风，预计是在明天吧。
2 million people are evacuated from southern China. And on the streets of Hong Kong, people prepare for potential flash floods.
Time check right now is 1030 local time. My name is Chen Wenqi. I'm commander for the Challenger 605. Deployed by Hong Kong Observatory, our task details to carry out a drop-sum mission for Typhoon Ragasa. This mission expect to run for 2 hours.
122.0 Cathay 239 Cathay.
I have collected data for about 15 typhoons. The wind is from 02020 knots, just under our crosswind limit, and we will return if the weather deteriorates. This task is a medium risk and medium gain task, so we will proceed with caution.
这么大的台风来，它可能从预报来讲，我们经常不光是看这个路径怎么走，登陆点在什么地方，我们还要关注它的影响。它有一定范围，然后呢，它又有一定高度，它可能从地面到这个1万米高空。你想很仔细的观测它呢，靠平时这种卫星可能还不够。如果这个台风很庞大或者很强，内部的云层很厚，那可能你越往里就越看不清楚。那这个时候，如果你里面有一些直接的探测设备，比如说有个气球飞进去啦，或者说有飞机飞进去啦，那对于内部的一个结构，你就看得会更精细一些。
小房，你过来一下。现在我们就把这个仪器跟这个气球进行一个连接，等一下就通过这个气球把这个仪器就是带飞。这个正常的能达到2-3万米。然后我们现在把它连接好之后，就等着7点15分时间到的时候，我们就拿出去就把它放飞了。这个好像跟世界交换的时间就是这个时间，就是要我们放出去获取到的资料就刚好跟这个国际交换嘛。没有啊，看着的，可以，它是正常的是吧？
The device is packed with high-tech sensors that measure temperature, air pressure, and humidity. Airborne for up to 2 hours, these sensors continuously collect real-time data from the vicinity of the typhoon. This is then transmitted back to forecasters via the Chinese Beidou satellite and used to pinpoint the typhoon's intensity and path.
咋样？ 这是没问题了吧？
看到深度，
他在放什么水？
这负的可以飞了。
台风要来了，他们在凌晨的2点，还有下午2点，他们会增加这个放气球的次数，就等于说他们的这个数据传回来，是帮助我们更好的了解这个大气它有发生了什么变化。台风就比较特殊了。 它可能在这个稳定的运动状态里面呢，突然冒了一个类似一个疙瘩出来一样，对吧？但是对于有一些台风呢，它可能在短时间内增强得非常快。
这边就是中国局那边的数据，这个是我们本地的数据，它就是同步的。
那么强度呢，就会更复杂一些了。如果这个台风，我们假设它在登陆前，譬如登陆前的24甚至10几个小时以内，它突然增强很快。 那这个自然而然，它可能未来就对我们造成的一个破坏是非常大的。
Nearly 1 in 3 typhoons will rapidly intensify. And as global sea temperatures rise and the atmosphere becomes more moist, this dangerous trend is growing more frequent.
我们发现，无论是从现象还是从统计上来说，现在全世界的极端天气的数量和它的强度都是变得越来越多且越来越极端的，也就是说它更加不可预测。我叫苏迪科，今年刚刚24岁。我追风的经历应该是从小时候说起。追风本身其实有点像人对自然的这种最原始的一些冲动，或者说想了解，或者说是好奇，所以我们都想知道这些东西是如何运行的。 在过去6年的时间，我做了一件特别神奇的事情。我差不多追了有几百场风暴系统的。这些，然后像去年的话，我们经历了一次比较大的台风，是台风摩羯，那次让我们印象都非常深刻。 那是一个非常恐怖的经历。首先，当我们逐渐去靠近一个台风的时候，天会变阴，有时候就会有一种世界末日的感觉，就觉得这个城市仿佛就空了。
As Typhoon Yagi neared South China, it underwent extreme rapid intensification, almost doubling in strength in just 24 hours.
所以我们会赶到现场，然后去对他们进行拍摄以及一些资料的收集，然后我们会把这些资料去打包好，然后发给相关的研究部门，去帮助他们去做一套资料库或者说数据库。平时的话，我们会尽可能保持追风团队的紧凑，尽量缩到一个车内。如果是正常的追风的话，基本上是2个人到3个人就可以了。所以我觉得还是需要我们这样一群真正到他的下方，像中医一样去对他进行望闻问切的这么一群人。 然后眼长的流星风大概会在下午的16点左右上岸。所以我们只能想办法找一个看起来不错的路，就这样子在这个村子里面绕来绕去，跟去迷宫里面去绕路一样。实际上都是一些没有意义的功夫。现在这个路感觉不太对了，大概有半电灯笼，怎么倒了这么少？这个光线速度不要太快了。来的时间，它的风速增强是如此的快，它可能比预期的更提前。那个就是让我们措手不及的地方。然后，当我们发现该撤离的时候，一切都晚了。
从这边吧，有一条路就行，有路就行。现在反正我们就是尝试，只要有路能开，我们就走。
然后我们确实也是在那个地方现车的。右边有石头。哎呦，快到！对，这个车距好像不是倒掉的树，我们也没法脱困，所以我们就决定只能就地那里度过一晚。从来没有经历过这么大的风，我会不会那晚上丧命什么的？好像眼前要来了。我要说明我们正在风暴中心。你拍得到吗？然后这种感觉会很神奇，就外面刮着风，那些树都在车顶上拍打，然后一切都很蓬。然后我们晚上就在车里面看着这些数据的跳动，以及手机的信号逐渐消失。那次首先是有一条非常疯狂的降压曲线，然后在降压曲线之后，我们的仪器就被摧毁了。对，因为气压下降，你可以定义台风的强度，所以我们能看到那个气压飞速下降，但是后面的那些我们只能靠脑补了，只能靠推测了。然后第二天起来，看着这一切，看着到处都是水，到处都是碎片，就觉得真的挺吓人。
Typhoon Yagi devastated 6 countries, killing 800 people. Its explosive rapid intensification made accurate forecasts extremely challenging. Impacts were underestimated, and there was little time to warn people. To decode this chaotic phenomenon, forecasters must rely on real-time data from deep inside the typhoon itself. And as Typhoon Ragasa looms, the Hong Kong Airforce prepares to fly straight towards it.
Time check right now is 1030 local time. We are flying towards big weather systems. Hail, turbulence, and thunders. We plan to fly above 30,000 feet, higher than the typhoon, to minimize our risk.
Safety equipment ready. Control unit on and secured.
The aircraft reconnaissance missions has been providing very valuable in situ weather measurements.
The direct measurement of data using dropzone could help us understand the three-dimensional structure near the center of a tropical cyclone.
Dropzone loading check. Roger. Dropzone loading check. Pressurization. Pressurized.
This could assist in the forecast of rapid intensification.
Vietnam Passenger 2, counter departure 122.65 today. Departure 122.65.
So this is one of our sondes. As it descends vertically, it'll collect data throughout its descent, and it'll have a live link with our console here.
We'll calibrate the sonde. We'll choose a frequency.
The dropping location is provided by the Hong Kong Observatory. As we release the sonde, we are actually opening up a hole between the cabin and the outside.
Open and secured. Sonde loaded. Roger.
As the dropzone falls from the aircraft, the ribbon will unravel, causing a parachute to be automatically deployed. This ensures the device will drop vertically at a controlled descent. Inside, high-precision instruments measure airspeed, temperature, and pressure, providing a detailed picture of the storm's structure. This is immediately sent back to the Hong Kong Observatory, where they use the data to forecast the typhoon's path and strength.
In the dropzone mission of Ragasa, we detected that the hurricane radius was at least 120 kilometers. Its closest approach was expected to be around 100 kilometers to the south within Hong Kong, and this was reflected in our warning bulletin.
Okay, thank you.
Record wind speeds, torrential rain, and 3-meter-high waves batter the coastline. Across 4 countries, tens of thousands of people are displaced. And economic damage exceeds $1.2 billion. At least 25 people lost their lives. Yet without accurate warnings, the casualties could have been far higher.
Ragasa was the strongest tropical cyclone over the western North Pacific and also South China Sea. This year,
那假设，如果我们前面没有做足准备的话，那你这个一旦发生什么事故是很危险的。现在这个画家沙呢，它定位比较清楚，影响它这个路径或者它未来移向的这个天气系统比较稳定，所以这次这个预报误差到目前为止，这个路径预报误差还是比较小的。
At the end of the day, pagkatapos ng bagyo and then you receive a positive report for the work that you have contributed, then it gives you a sort of satisfaction. Although you don't know that particular individual, pero the mere fact that you know you have saved at least one life, then malaking bagay na po yun.
In the wake of Typhoon Ragasa, Asia is hit by another 6 typhoons.
It's just gone midnight, the 3rd of November 2025. I've just landed in Manila. Been quite a long day's traveling. But I am just walking to the hotel where Mark is staying. Going to meet up with him to chase Tropical Storm Kalmigi, which is expected to intensify into a typhoon and make landfall in about 24 hours from now.
I'm going to be chasing these typhoons as long as I can. It's like ingrained in my DNA. We are a rare bunch as storm chasers. There aren't that many of us. We do have a pretty tight bond. It's nice to know that there are other people out there who are living this extremely unique experience.
In November 2025, Typhoons Kalmigi and Feng Wong strike the Philippines within a week of each other.
Yeah, we just had a huge wave smash through now, right over the seawall, surged into the hotel, and it's unfortunately busted out those glass doors.
We expect na at least every year talaga ay magkakaroon tayo ng malalakas na bagyo na mag-inflict ng not only heavy damage to structures and livelihood, but may inflict casualties as well. Kaya dapat po natin talagang pagandaan regardless of intensity. So not only immediate protection on a short term, but we can also use the forecast products on a long-term basis para mag-build po tayo ng tinatawag nating resilience. We provide the warnings to the general public and to the other government agencies na partner naman natin to mobilize people on the ground. So when you think about preparation sa paparating na bagyo, always remember na it's always a collective effort.